Hi guys, this is Juno. Welcome to my channel. For my first video, I wanted to share with you guys a testimony about how God helped me overcome one of the biggest fears and challenges that I would say I probably ever had my entire life. So I hope this will help somebody. I know a lot of you ladies can relate to this. And so where do I begin? I think the best place to start would be from the beginning. I never used to be somebody who would like to put on makeup or who used to put on any kind of powder, lipstick until my university years, and that was when I joined the University of Eastern Africa, Barton. Hey Bartonians! And that was in 2013, surprisingly. So yeah, that was when I started putting on makeup. Prior to that, I would just put on things like Pond's. For some of you that know of Pond's, it's more of a cream you just put on your face to, I don't know, sort of balance or help with oiliness of skin. I used to have very oily skin. So now on this date that I was going to, I decided to go the extra mile. I put on powder and some lipstick and I looked good. And that was the beginning of a nightmare, to say the least, because I became so obsessed with maintaining a certain look, a polished look. You know how sometimes you can put on powder or makeup or any foundation and you look so polished? Like, I remember this guy that I went on a date with said that you look so polished, like you've polished your face. And I was thinking, okay, to imply what exactly? So yeah, this was the beginning of one of the worst things that I could have ever probably done to myself. Fast forward to the date. There actually was an incident whereby a certain young lady referred to me as the lady who wears a lot of makeup, and I did not think I wore that much makeup because it was just powder and lipstick. But anyway, I think what really brought the change about was when my relationship with God started taking the forefront in my life. It became now the focus in my life. God uses different ways of drawing us closer to Him. And I remember I heard the sermon, which I did not want to hear. Have you ever heard something and you want to take it back or rewind and be like, I did not hear that? That way I'm not held accountable by God one way or another when He probably brings it up to me in future, and I'll be like, I did not know this. Rather, ignorance is bliss, to say the least. But anyway, and this pastor, he was Pastor Randiski. He mentioned something about, I think it was under the sermon, can I have a Diet Coke or Pepsi? And he said the way we present ourselves was important as Christians. And he also mentioned one thing which I think stood out the most for me, and that was when we put on makeup, we are breaking one of God's commandments, which is do not bear false witness. And so hearing that by me wearing makeup, I was actually breaking God's commandment. And not only that, but I was bearing false witness, because the way I would look, if I was to put up a picture how I would look if I had makeup on and how I just look right now, it is two different people, guys, two different people. And it reached the point where by one particular Sabbath I went to church without any makeup. I was determined, I'm going to do this. And now that was one of my biggest mistakes, because when you make such promises to change, such resolutions, we have this whole New Year resolutions, I'm going to do this and do that, without actually involving God in it, it's most likely to fail. Because when you're making such life-changing decisions, you need God to give you that power to be able to change. And it so happened that when I went to church, everything was okay. I sat down, and then I started feeling nervous. I was looking around me to see if people were looking at me. If anybody would stare at me for more than a second, I would be like, oh my God, they've noticed. Oh my God, they think I look ugly. And I walked out of church. I literally walked out of church. And I was determined to get in my car and drive home. When I got into my car, I sat there for about 5 minutes, and I was stunned that I was willing to skip church because I had no makeup on. And the only thing that kept me and made me go back inside the church was because my friend was preaching that day and I wanted to support her. So I went back in church, and as soon as we stood up for the final song, after she was done preaching, I walked out. I made sure nobody saw me, went to my car, and I was like, something has to change. I cannot do this. So I told God that He needed to help me because I wanted to obey Him, to be able to go without makeup, to just be how He created me, natural look and all that. But it was proving difficult because I had terrible skin, and I know you might think maybe my skin isn't that good right now, but it was horrible, horrible. And slowly God started showing me things I could do to help my skin improve. He showed me things to do with my diet, how I could eat clean. That was the more plant-based food to remove junk from my diet, and also just natural remedies, cleansing, things like those things that really played a big part in improving my skin. And He's still showing me and giving me better alternatives, natural remedies to improve my skin and still be able to glorify Him while being able to go without makeup on. So after realizing that in my attempts and struggle, and in a very expensive way, that I was trying to look good and trying to be appealing not only to myself but also probably to the opposite sex, to get a guy or whatever, I was hurting God. I was breaking His commands, which He said, do not bear false witness. I presented it to God. I told Him, Lord, these are my challenges. You know I don't have beautiful skin to be parading around, and I want to do that. I want to be able to obey You and glorify You as a woman in how I look, but I cannot do that looking like this. And you know, God will make rivers in the desert. He will definitely come through for you when you are trying to do His will. And God came through for me. He gave me strength to really start going without makeup. And of course there were comments, and there will always be comments when people feel that you know, you're supposed to look a certain way, especially with how society has made it these days. But God really kept me strong. He is my stronghold, and He kept me pushing and going forward. And in the process of obeying Him, He's given me so much alternatives. Now I'm aware of so many things I can do, so many natural essential oils I can apply to my skin that can help with my skin, and just to be able to be natural and just glorify God in everything I do. Yeah, guys, so that's my story. I hope this encourages somebody who's trying to make the decision to just do what God says in His Word. And I hope you subscribe to my channel. There'll be more videos I'll be posting, sharing with you guys some of the things that I've learned as to how to improve your skin. I'm still in the process of improving my skin, but I'll be more than glad to share with you and some natural remedies, and also just share life experiences and the Christian walk and how God is leading.